What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Believes Crypto Show. We're going to talk about what's going on with Pumpfun today because a federal lawsuit has been filed. The lawsuit indicates that there is inside coordination between the developers of Pumpfun and Solana, and they brought receipts and evidence. This has been filed in the Southern District of New York, where most business filings seem to take place because they get favorable rulings in favor of the people filing and not for the protection of the major large corporations. And that's potentially a good thing, but the name for Solana meme coins is now in the public lexicon being changed to crime coins. At 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time today, I'm going to be releasing a video about crime coins like Pippin, according to some. And even the Trump coin is going to be considered a crime coin because of the nature of how it happened, what went on with it, how it pumped up super hard and then dumped as liquidity was extracted and as people made a bunch of money. By the way, not all people, but the rich insiders. And this is all about insider trading. So it's very weird. And these guys have been doing a lot of investigating in order to figure it out. Also, the XRP has a rare price pattern that's playing out right now as the ETF crosses $1 billion, saying that most likely XRP is about to surge to the $3 range. Also, Bitcoin proxy Metaplanet is getting support from the world's largest sovereign wealth fund. And the Fed's Chris Waller came out today and says the labor market is very soft, which is a signal right now for continued and further rate cuts. So get ready because we're about to get another good one. However, and this is also good news, but you wouldn't know it because I'm saying it. There's a warning right now from Capeable founder who says that he thinks that Bitcoin is going to drop below 50,000, but not until 2028. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right.
It's your boy Bleeves. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. I'm always right.
Imagine being able to build an app.
I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
All right, ladies and germs and ball-headed worms. I don't remember where I ever heard that, but I heard that one time, and in my entire life, it stuck with me because it's hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious. Ladies and germs and bald-headed worms. We're going to talk about what's going on in this crazy crypto world right now. And guys, it's insanity. It's insanity. So let's figure it out. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Certainly helps push me up in the algorithm, gets a few more people watching, and I'll do the rest if you just hit that like button. Everyone has been asking, where is Alon? And why has Pump been so quiet? Why did Pump, who previously had been a very active and vocal player on the on X and other platforms, constantly engaging with people. So what's going on? Alon and Pump are being investigated currently for violation of the RICO Act. That's Racketeering, Influenced, and Corrupt Organization, according to New York General Business Law, alleging that Pump, alongside Solana co-founders, operated a meme coin casino to coordinate MEV-bot extractions, manipulating token launches, also granting insiders early access to new launches while misleading ordinary people. Some tokens that were mentioned were Peanut, which, by the way, I remember Peanut as it happened, Fwog, and Fred. For those who don't understand the law, there is an original class action filed in January of 2025 and then amended to include more charges and defendants. These cases take years to resolve and often have unfavorable outcomes. So the filing, there is something to be said about how many meme tokens specifically as securities are unregulated. It's not 100% known the legal ramifications or remedies from this lawsuit. However, Pump is a company registered in the UK, which has very strict laws about consumer manipulation. I'm sure the reasons for this total silence from Pump and its operators is because of that. In filings, it was also shown that Alon is currently 22 years old. He is higher up at Baton Corporation, which is the parent company of Pump. And then here's all the sources that he's got. Now, first of all, you've got this right here, which is, it says plaintiffs, and this is Diego Aguilar, Kendall Carnahan, and Michael Okafor on behalf of other similarly situated against the defendants, the Baton Corporation, which is Pumpfun, Alon Cohen, Dylan Curler, Noah Bernshard, Hugo Tweetdale, Solana Labs, Solana Foundations, Anatoly Yakovenko, Raj Gokal, Dan Gilbert, Austin Federa, and Lily Liu. Plaintiffs Diego Aguilar, all of these people, an executive alleged that the defendants coordinated a scheme referred to as the Pump Enterprise to profit from cryptocurrency token launches by secretly granting insiders priority access to buy newly issued tokens while misleading ordinary users into believing those launches were fair. Plaintiffs seek to represent a class of all persons who purchased any tokens sold through Pumpfun during the class period defined as March 1 of 2024 through the filing of the first amended complaint on July 23, 2025, and who suffered any out-of-pocket loss on those investments. They also seek to represent a narrower Pump token subclass consisting of all persons who purchased 20 specific tokens. These are called the Pump tokens. On behalf of these groups, plaintiffs assert 4 claims against the defendants. First, they bring a claim under Section 12 of the Securities Act on behalf of Pump token subclass against Pumpfun and its co-founders based on their allegations, sale, and solicitation of the sale of unregistered securities. Second, they bring claim under the RICO Act, alleging violations against all defendants on behalf of the class with respect to all tokens, alternatively with respect to the Pump token subclass based on several such actions before the court and plaintiff's motion to leave a filed second complaint amendment. Central to the alleged Pump enterprise was Solana Labs blockchain, a decentralized network that allows users to create, transfer, and trade digital tokens without central authority. Jito Labs, a software and infrastructure provider for the Solana blockchain, developed tools that influence the order in which transactions are processed. This is where we're getting into it right now. Okay, according to plaintiffs, these tools allowed insiders to pay for priority execution, ensuring their transactions were confirmed ahead of ordinary users. Jito Labs' ability to control transaction priority allegedly gave insiders early access to new tokens before the public could purchase them. This has been a grift from the beginning. They've been attacking you and stealing from you this entire time. In short, plaintiffs contend that Jito Labs' priority ordering mechanisms enabled insiders to jump ahead of ordinary users in the transaction space, executing advantageous trades that help generate billions of dollars in revenue for the enterprise. And finally, Pumpfun served as the public-facing platform where new tokens were launched. Pumpfun charged a 1% platform fee on all trades and marketed its launch as fair and rug pull proof, suggesting that everyone, regardless of technical sophistication, had an equal chance to buy in early. Plaintiffs allege that the system worked in very differently in practice. They allege that Solana validator infrastructure and Jito Lab priority execution tool allowed Pumpfun to process the buy orders of insiders ahead of the general public, meaning insiders acquired a large share of new tokens at the lowest possible prices. Pumpfun's design then amplified this advantage using a bonding curve, an automated pricing mechanism that rapidly increases token prices as more people tried to buy in. Because insiders purchased first, these early buys triggered the start of rapid price escalation. By the time ordinary users placed their orders, they were pushed to the back of the processing queue, forced to buy tokens only after prices had already spiked upwards and left exposed when those prices inevitably collapsed once insiders sold their holdings for a profit. Now, guys, I got to be perfectly honest with you. This sounds 100% true, okay? And the reason that I say that is because that's the way they've done it since the beginning. This is exactly what's happening in crypto. This is the reason everything is wrong in crypto right now. This is it. right here. You're seeing it play out in a federal court right now. The insiders have their own advantageous positions. They take advantage of you, the consumer, and they extract maximum possible value from you on each and every transaction. And the insiders continue to make their money. Now, the reason that you don't see it, or the reason that we don't see it, is because we look at it and we say, well, hey, everybody in crypto is just trying to do their thing. And, we just kind of turn the other cheek to it. We just kind of say, well, you know what, whatever. It's no big deal. I mean, this is the game. That's what we tell ourselves. This is the game. This should not be the game. The game should not be a scam. It shouldn't be an opportunity to steal from you and extract your money because you just happen to be, quote unquote, late to the game. Now, here's the understanding that we should all have. Pumpfun, Solana, all of these places, they are just gambling websites that happen to use cryptocurrency. That's what it is. That's what's going on. And now there could be some sort of accountability for that. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case. And by the way, there is a possibility that we are all kind of misreading the signs, because in fact, it may not be just that cut and dried. Maybe it's not Solana that's involved. Maybe it's just Jito Labs. Maybe it's, I don't know. But I don't know what you think. Put your comment. Do you think that this makes sense? Do you think that this is the crime? Put it in the comment section right now. Let me know exactly what you think, because it is absolutely wild. And let's get into chat right now. Good morning to Jay Manuel. Hit Gary Daly, good morning. Vader Prime, good morning and happy hump day. Hit Gary Daly says, looks like Cent is shaping to be a phenomenal project so far. Happy I got in. Thanks, Believes. I'm hoping, I'm hoping that this is going to be something really fantastic. Steve, good morning. Oh my God, Casinos, good morning. Meat is in the house. Good morning. I hope you're still making bags, buddy. Latama, good morning. Burn by Saitama, what is going on, my man? Haven't seen you in a minute. Good morning, Bleeze from George Lopez Garcia. I don't know if it's George or Jorge, but in America, I guess it's supposed to be George. Eddie RVA says, Bitcoin just popped up. Let's go. I'm looking at the market and I'm seeing that there is like this underlying sentiment that the market wants to run. I mean, the question is, we're at what do you call it? Jane Street o'clock. So we're going to look at the chart in just a moment. I looked at it right before. I didn't dislike what I saw. We were down about $25 billion when I woke up. By the time I started filming, it was down $10 billion. So it looked like we were trending in the American market as I was waking up in the right direction, but I don't know yet. We're going to look in just a second. Ken Gillette, a little late, but I'm here. Thank you, man. I appreciate you coming in. Again, guys, hit that like button. Help me out. DGen Brian is in the house right now. Selmo. Is Selmo here? Is he still crying about Shadur Sanders getting dominated by the Chicago Bears? Like, oh, God, that must have hurt. Washington Heights veteran, good morning. Kevin Sankey, good morning. Jordan, good morning. Blacker Jack, good morning to you. And Jordan's Toolbot, good morning. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I appreciate you guys taking the time to come check me out every day. Hit Gary Daly says, the daily reward and the mites for Cent are earning money. Broke 2.1 million in pre-sale so far. Absolutely great. Absolutely great. Let's keep going with the news, though, because XRP has now shown a rare price pattern that points to a surge to $3 as ETFs cross the 1 billion milestone. One potential driver that may push the XRP price higher in the coming weeks is the fact that it is in accumulation phase. Data compiled by Soso Value showed that spot XRP ETFs, which were launched last month, have become highly popular among investors. Ripple ETFs crossed 1 billion inflow milestone, a notable achievement considering that Ethereum funds took over a month to reach that amount. Most importantly, the XRP ETF has never had a day without inflows, with their worst day being on November 18 when they received 8 million in inflows. There are odds that these ETFs will continue to gain asset in the coming months, as JP Morgan predicted that they would achieve between 6 and 8 billion in the first year. As such, if this trend continues, there is a likelihood that funds will surpass that prediction. And by the way, XRP is going to have outflow days. Just because we haven't seen them yet doesn't mean that we won't. In fact, I don't know if today is an inflow day because I haven't checked the chart. I wanted to do that fresh while we're here and talk about it. And I'm speculating at this point on the news So we'll see what happens there. But ongoing XRP ETF inflows are also notable because it is happening as investors dump their Bitcoin and Ethereum funds. So spot Bitcoin ETFs had over 277 million in outflows on Tuesday after shedding 357 million the previous day. Similarly, Ethereum ETF has shed over 500 million in assets in the last 4 days, bringing the net inflows to 12.6 billion, down from the all-time high of nearly 15 billion. As such, there are signs of potential rotation from Bitcoin and Ethereum to XRP funds. Now, are we really seeing that? And the answer to that is not really. It's not really the case. That's just, when you look at it and you see outflows on one and you see inflows on another, then you tend to just kind of put the pieces together and say, well, it must be the same people just deciding that they don't like Bitcoin. And by the way, I'm not saying that this writer, Crispus, is good, bad, or indifferent when it comes down to it. I'm just reciting their data and questioning if they're correct on it, okay? So most technical indicators. A keener look shows that the token has formed an inverted head and shoulders pattern whose neckline connects the highest swing since October 2nd. It's now in the right shoulder stage. Now, in the event that we do have the head and shoulders pattern playing out, and by the way, I disagree that it really plays out like a head and shoulders because it doesn't really, like there's no secondary test or anything like that. Like, we're getting real loose with how we define these patterns, but a breakout does appear to be imminent if you look at it on the chart that way. Not because of head and shoulders, but because it seems like there is a consolidation. We're getting lower highs, but we're getting massive accumulation. When you're getting lower highs and massive accumulation, that does mean that you're probably being manipulated in some way, and that manipulation tends to lead to an explosive movement. Also, the token has formed a double bottom pattern, which makes more sense to me. Therefore, the most likely XRP price forecast is where it rebounds and moves to the psychological level at $3, which is 57% above the current level. On the flip side, a drop below the important support level at $1.81 will invalidate the bullish forecast. So, and by the way, that forecast, look, we're always guessing. I try to tell you this as much as possible. Look, when I'm right about something like Terra Classic and I tell you exactly where it's going to go and what it's going to do, I feel great. But also, I'm just guessing. So when I guess right, I'm happy that I've guessed right. So it's not because I know everything or exactly what's going on. It's not any of that at all. It's just me absolutely guessing and trying to figure it out. Now, Bitcoin proxy Metaplanet gets support from the world's largest sovereign wealth fund. Asia's MicroStrategy Metaplanet has secured a major vote of confidence from Norges Bank Investment Management. Norges Bank disclosed votes in favor of all 5 proposals in line with Metaplanet's upcoming extraordinary general meeting next week. It indicates support for the planned preferred share offering, capital reduction, and accounting transfers by the company for its Bitcoin-focused strategy. The support could further catalyze Metaplanet's goal to reach 100,000 Bitcoin holdings, cementing its position as a leader in the corporate Bitcoin adoption. They are first to the market. They are the first ones up, along with MicroStrategy. I guess they're the second ones up, but for large gains or for large accumulations. But Norges Bank currently holds a 0.49 stake in Metaplanet, underscoring its growing interest in the company. Fund also maintains a 1.05% stake worth $1.1 billion in MicroStrategy, the largest corporation Bitcoin treasury. With its immense capital base, Norges Bank would increase its exposure to Metaplanet over time, boosting the company's profile among global investors. So we're about to find out, by the way, whether or not, and look, large investment companies like this, they're not buying more Bitcoin because they think price is going to go down, okay? They would be accumulating at the bottoms if they thought that was the case, and they would be guessing where the bottom's going to be. Now, here's the thing. If they're not doing that, then you have to ask yourself, why are they not doing that? Why are the smartest people making the most money on the planet not dumping Bitcoin? And to answer that, I mean, come on, guys. It is very obvious at this point that we are in a situation in which Bitcoin is probably ready for another leg up. Now, why is it ready for another leg up? Because the Fed's Chris Waller says that the labor market is very soft, and he's signaling support for more rate cuts. We are now in a spot. Speaking at the Yale CEO Summit, the Fed governor said the labor market indicates that they should make more rate cuts. Now, if you remember, Christopher Waller was appointed by Donald Trump not that long ago. So he's in on the game with Donald Trump for aggressive rate cuts. So, but again, I think we should be doing the same thing. I'm not in on it, but I agree that more rate cuts are needed. I do know what's going to happen. I do know that that's not great for inflation, but I also know that, as a matter of fact, while we talk about it, I pointed out yesterday on X. If you're not following me on X, it's at Believes Crypto, and you should be following me. And also, if you don't know, I'm a big fan of a band called Parkway Drive. Chris Hemsworth is playing drums for Parkway Drive, and there's an Instagram post. So if you guys want to go click it and check it out, it is amazing. He is not good at all, okay? And they were playing Vice Grip. They were practicing Vice Grip, and Chris Hemsworth cannot get the drum part right. His timing is way off, and it's hilarious to watch as they're getting frustrated. Like, come on, man, just keep the time. And he's going so fast on one of the takes that Winston McCall, that's the lead singer, is singing so fast that he starts laughing. Like, oh my God, I can't do this. Like he's just going so fast. And if you don't know, he's a screamer guy, so he's using his voice. And look, you have to be, if you're screaming, I do know how to scream, by the way, but you have to be comfortable with it, and you have to be comfortable with the pacing, otherwise your throat starts to get out. So it's very funny, okay? And by the way, for those of you that don't know, at $38 billion, this is the biggest welfare queen in the United States. And I saw something the other day talking about welfare queens and how welfare queens shouldn't be taking from the corporate, taking from the government's money and stuff like that. But did you know that that is in the low area of what we're actually paying out as a government? That is a incremental small piece. And that Elon Musk, at $38 billion in annual subsidies, makes 10 times as much as we're spending on food for welfare queens. Like, it's disgusting the type of lies that you, the American people, are put through by these massive corporations. By the way, this is a trillionaire getting $38 billion in subsidies every year from the federal government. Also, OM was having a bit of a move, still seems to be moving. And this is my old video about how crypto really works. Oh yeah, and deciding on a gift for my son for Christmas. Which one do you think I should get him? I'm just having fun with it, by the way. But there was right here. There we go. Oil is down to $55 today. You're not bullish enough on the economic turn President Trump is about to oversee. And guys, look, you know I'm not a fan, but I'm going to give credit. And by the way, let me know what your gas prices are around you. I'm going to be interested to see that, because I got a response and a reply, and it was from Mike Vollmer. He paid $1.89 for gas. And I said to him that this must be Buc-ee's. By the way, when I looked at the picture, duh. I said, I'm 100 that that's a Buc-ee's somewhere. It was absolutely a Buc-ee's, but that doesn't change the fact that you're getting gas for $1.89. I got it for $2.51 around here. However, overnight, it's now $2.99. Why? Because BP Whiting Refinery near me that serves the Midwest is a goddamn scam. It's a goddamn scam. And he said it is, but to be fair, the average price at all gas stations where I live is priced around the same price. I've seen $1.76 at a Maverick station. So I said a few days ago we had $2.51, and actually last night I paid $2.51 for gas. But today, $2.99. Oil prices went down, which makes no sense, but welcome to the Midwest. And by the way, I put BP, let me see here, BP. I put a search in here. In the AI overview, here we go. Look at this right here. You're not going to believe this. This is absolute lunacy. Lunacy. This all happened, by the way, this year, okay? And they're not even mentioning the dead bodies. For those of you that don't know, at BP Whiting Refinery, they've discovered 2 dead bodies, not at the same time, by the way. Separate times. Oh, we got to shut down for a week. Ha 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 ha. We found a dead body. And then all of a sudden prices go from $3 to $3.50, or prices go from $2.50 to $3 overnight because they found another dead body. This is wild, okay? Recently, significant operations disruption. They've had a major fire. They've had 2 fires, okay? And flaring in October, earlier flooding in August of 2025, taking both critical units offline, forcing gas prices up across Indiana, Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Illinois, obviously. Supply chain strain. The outages, and by the way, it had a power outage. Somebody jiggled the handle. Like, it's absolute insanity. And then, not only that, during that time, when they could have just, you know, since everybody's not doing anything because they can't produce it, 440,000 barrels a day of gasoline is what they produce. And since they couldn't do that, they could have done their seasonal maintenance. But no. They did not do their seasonal maintenance. What they did is they waited for their opportunity to do their seasonal maintenance when they could shut it down one more time and then raise the prices even more. You know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely crazy. You have to buy a car wash in order to get $1.89. Well, you know what? Yeah, that's I'm not a fan of having to get a car wash, but I mean, goddamn, wash your dirty ass car. You know what I mean? And look. It's because the water is less expensive than the gasoline. So if they do it at the same kind of range and same kind of price, that's where they're making money. Okay, that's really all it is. Clean your car off, you get a discount on gas, but they make up the difference because they make a bigger profit because it only costs them like pennies to keep your car clean, where it costs them dollars in order to put gas in it. So, you know, whatever. Now, FedWaller is going to do that, and let's move on here to Bitcoin price prediction as Capriole founder warns of a drop below 50,000 by 2028. Capriole founder Charles Edward warned that Bitcoin price could fall below 50,000 by 2028 without proactive protocol upgrades. He put the situation in the context of quantum computing developments instead of market feeling. According to his assessment, Bitcoin price security assumption faces erosion if cryptographic defenses lag behind technological progress. Specifically, Charles Edwards linked the sub-K 50,000 price for Bitcoin as confidence is being lost rather than supply dynamics. Notably, Bitcoin valuation models grounded on scarcity fall when network security credibility decays. Meanwhile, the 2028 timeline aligns with forecasts for meaningful quantum capability expansion. Not only that, but we're in a super cycle is what a lot of people are believing, so that by 2028, we're not going to see 3 years of downward momentum. That's not what he's saying here. I think that really what he's saying is we're going to see a massive surge as people are excited for right now, and then we're going to start looking forward. And then when the real bear market starts, when that real, look, we got another blow off, okay? When that real blow off happens, then the next move is going to be that downward momentum. And instead of going down to 70,000, we're going to end up going down to around 50,000 or less. And I don't know that that's going to be the case or not, but let's move into the market right now. And look at this. This is a nice green day so far. Leo down 25%, Pulse down another 7%. It's crazy to me that PulseX is still in the top 100. Absolute insanity. But look at ETH over here, up 2.8% on the day. Bitcoin up 3% on the day. Again, I haven't looked at the market, but I assume that from this, we are getting a little bit of a surge. If we look at it from page 2, Syrup was up 10%. Syrup was up 7% when I looked at it earlier. ZBCN up 5.7%. Beat still 19%. Guys, I would buy Beat on this dip every single time at this point because it really seems like it's moving super hard. And by the way, the run could be over. I could be wrong. I don't want to get you trapped into something. So, don't take me for financial advice. Also, Luna Classic up 10% on the day. Solana in the 2 to 300. Oh, that's the Binance peg. There we go. Tibber up 55%. Another, you know what it is. It's another crime coin. Dream down 53%. Folks down 26%. Looking around, I see NT up 27%. Now, as we get into the lower tiers over here, you're seeing really it looks like meme coins starting to pop out right now. More likely not meme coins necessarily. More likely, USTC up 16% on the day. PLLD, which is the Palladium network. Then we've got a couple of meme coins. So, nothing there. We got a lot of different shit going on here. OMG Casinos at 305. That means that you probably live in Illinois or somewhere like that, I would think. No bull market peak indicators have been hit. TerraCasino.io. Remember, we're giving away money all the time for Terra Casino. So sign up today and bet on, by the way, if you're doing it, bet on the Bears. Bears versus Packers. I think the Bears are going to win by 10 points. I think they're going to dominate the Packers in a way that few people right now are expecting because of the way. Look, I'm not telling you what to think when it comes down to sports, okay? But I am telling you that from what I've seen from the Chicago Bears right now, they've shown resilience. They had an opportunity to tie the game in Lambeau Field at the end of that game, and they were internally furious by their inability to rally and do what they needed to do when they needed to do it. And one of the important things that I think everybody should recognize is that Caleb Williams has been they call him the Iceman because when the game is on the line, he keeps coming through. So the fact that he keeps coming through means to me that he is now angry about what happened the last time and that he will be in a zone when the Bears play the Green Bay Packers on Saturday night. That does not mean that the Packers will not be in a zone as well, but I think the Bears are on the up right now, and I think that they are shocking a lot of people with their resilience and their ability to perform when the game is on the line. They are clutch players, and I think that that matters a lot, and I think that this is going to be a coming out moment where the Bears finally slay that Green Bay Dragon. Now, they did win last year, but let's face it, it was a nobody game. It was the last game of the season. It wasn't something that was major. It was, it was just, they got lucky, in my opinion, to win because the Packers had already made the playoffs and didn't really care. Terraport.finance, if you're looking for any meme or utility coins. Again, I have 4 of them that I think that you should have. And if you have not already, it would be my estimation, by the way, that you are making a mistake. What I think you should do, and it's only, what, $400, $500 right now, get yourself about 10 million Terra Luna Classic, and then go put like $100 into WISO, go put $100 into Juris Protocol, go put $100 into Terra, Terra for the Terraport, and then go put some into Selenium, and then maybe some Garuda X. You know what I mean? So that's $100 in each one of them, $500, and then you are going to be golden. There is a revival coming for Terra Luna Classic. I do want to point that out. If you look at my Terra videos, and you will know that. I'm going to show you something that was really crazy that happened over here, I suppose. These are the Lunk validators, if you're familiar with them. Dutch Lunk just came in out of nowhere and is now the largest influential place, and nobody knows exactly what's going on. They have no logo. They just out of nowhere showed up, and all of a sudden, when you look at it from like the 1 day, people are taking their money out of every other place. 17 billion out of all nodes, 5 billion out of Greenpeace, coming down to number 20-ish, I think it is. AutoStake, 100 billion came out of AutoStake. Now, it would be my estimation that AutoStake in some way must be the culprit behind Dutch Lunk. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. And then Stakely, 17 billion. So whatever's going on right now, somebody at Dutch Lunk is set to take over this chain and maybe take it to a new level. When something like this happens, that's usually one of those moments where you're like, what is going on here? They're not doing it because they think price is going down. They're doing it because they believe they can make the price go up. That's why something is happening in the background that we don't yet understand. So, guys, I would settle in for a massive Luna Classic pump coming very, very, very soon. Now, for DevvE, let's talk about DevvE because it looks like I'm going to be frustrated by DevvE. Today, it was announced that, or yesterday, it was announced that in just a few short moments, we are going to get a new video, and that new video is going to be the conversation between, where is it? Right here. It's going to be the Dev Roundup with Austin and Ray Quintana. And if you click right here, Roundup, let's zoom this in so you can see it. Roundup start, Ray intro, working with our key partner, where the development timeline at. And by the way, this right here is why people are like, what the fuck is going on here? Because we just got a roadmap. Why don't we just stick to the roadmap, right? So where's the development timeline at? Updates on announcement. And by the way, Tom has said everything's on track. So there's no reason to think that it's not on track until we get here to the update on announcements right here. And there's like, listen, if you come into me and tell me at the end of the year, you laid out a roadmap 3 months ago that said that by the end of this year, you're going to know exactly what's up. And now what you're telling me is, oh, my bad. That is not a great look. And remember, I am hypercritical of DevvE because of the way that they treated me. Okay? Not because I don't believe in what they're doing and their technology and stuff like that, but it seems like we're doing this update on the announcement, and then we're going to building a global financial platform. What type of demo can people expect? Which means, like, again, the summary of what DevvE has done so far, Dev has done so far is, trust me, bro. Now, I do trust, actually, in all fairness, I trust Tom Anderson because I know, you know, I mean, I've researched Tom Anderson, if nobody else, and Ray Quintana, I know Ray Quintana as well. So I've read through everything there is to read about them, and I am sure that they know what they're doing. I am sure that we're going to be just fine, if you will. But this gives me cause for concern. Unique product offering for small to mid-sized banks. Now we're getting fluffed over here, and that does not sit well with me. So, you know, I don't know what's going to end up happening here on this announcement, but it's going to be in 78 minutes. So we will have some full disclosure in about 78 minutes. In the meantime, let's get back into the market right here. 16 on the Fear and Greed Index, which means we've had a little bit of reversal. There's the spike right there, up to 90,000 for Bitcoin just in the last little while. Now I refreshed this right before starting. Let's see if it didn't come down a little bit. Yeah, of course it came down. It spiked all the way up a little bit over 90,000, and then we had a dump back down into it as some of those long positions are starting to get liquidated right away. Now the inflows and outflows yesterday on the ETF, 277 million in outflows. Okay, so these guys were right on their numbers, but inflows on Solana, outflows on Ethereum, heavy outflow on Ethereum, and then the XRP. XRP, another day of nice inflows, another 8.5 million in inflows on the ETF. So absolutely crazy what's going on there. Let's go up here. We're up $33 billion on the day, 24 billion now, as the US market continues to try to gank anybody who said, oh, let me get in there. Look at this. Let's see if it's not a Fibonacci retracement. So we look at it from the pivot. Then if you believe the price is going up, set yourself a buy order at around 88,318 or 88,313 and look for a spike at that range right there. Now, we haven't looked at it in a little while, so let's go look and see, is the global money supply absolutely tanking? Are we dead? Is it just over? Is it done? Is this the end of the road? I'll only go to the end of the road. What is that song? Look at global money supply. Guys, I am telling you right now that this is an example of you could not be more manipulated than you currently are, okay? Like, it is impossible to be any more manipulated than you are currently being manipulated. Look at the spikes that are happening right here. Look at the absolute dip that's happening over here. And then look at the global money supply continuing to absolutely explode. Okay? Up, 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 up and away. And we're not seeing it come into cryptocurrency. This is the purest example of manipulation that you have ever, and the rock means ever, seen. Now, let's go back into the lower time frame here and let's see what's going on. Okay, now let's get a bigger bigger cover here. I'm not sure I'm going to be right about this, but in the event that I am, let me just say this: in the early trading hours, people saw an opportunity for a pump and they went in on a pump. And now what's happening? We got the 9 a.m. Jane Street candle. So we got a pre-pump leading into the market, and then we got Jane Street selling off immediately to extract value out of that pump, which is just some shady bullshit from a shady organization. But guess what? here's the funny part. I say that over and over again, but the reality is that it's their money. They can do whatever they want with that money. They're not required to, and if the SEC says everything's fine, well, then it must be fine, right? Donald Trump would never make a mistake. Trump administration would never make a mistake. So, here we are. Now, in the meantime, we are seeing some cracks in AI as BitTensor has now broken down to lower levels. And look, I gave you that structure right there, and we were looking pretty good a while back. And coming back into the daily over here, we were in a really nice upward trajectory right there. It was playing out pretty well, and now we are just kind of bombing out and down, 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 down. Now, why is that happening? Well, if we come down and we start looking at, let's go to, let's say, Fetch. Fetch is down a couple points. AI narrative is not playing out as well as we thought. Assemble protocol had that big lift yesterday, but it is now dunked back to the prices that we saw 3 days ago. So that AI narrative, this was really, I think this was just an Assemble protocol opportunity to trap people. That was an artificial pump coordinated by Coinbase. I don't know. So we're not seeing a big pump here. ICP down 1.5%. We're seeing liquidity extractions, by the way. Monad way, way, way down. TARS AI down 3.5% again. All we're seeing is AI is not having a great day. So, I don't know what to tell you about that. Also, we're about to go negative on the day one more time. Thanks, Jane Street, you piece of shit. Oh, there you go. Boys to Men, end of the road. That's, I got it now. We should start a rap organization. I should rap to you guys every day. I should turn everything in this show into like a rap. I should rap to you every day about what's going on in the market. Yo, what's up, guys? We're talking Bitcoin. Now grab your piece and hug your groin. I don't know. I'm not Eminem. By the way, for those of you that don't know, when I every once in a while I put out like my top favorite or top 5 rappers of all time, and I always pick the white guys just to annoy people. Because I pick I say number 1 is Eminem, number 2 is that one Beastie Boy, number 3 is that other Beastie Boy, number 4 is the third Beastie Boy, and number 5 is Vanilla Ice. Sometimes I throw Macklemore in there. I don't even know who Macklemore is. I think he did that song about buying shit at a grocery store or something like that. But yeah, I just to annoy people, just to be annoying. Total market cap is now down on the day again. Dev price, though, having a little bit of a recovery from that little tanking that happened a short while ago. Also, I'm going to be doing some shows. For those of you that don't know, I'm not sure if you are fans of these people or not, but Steve Hennock from Hennock Crypto, I'm going to be doing a show with him coming up in the new year. Also, I'm going to have Pablo Crow on. I'm going to do an interview with Pablo to talk about Moon AI, to talk about Memelinked. Memelinked, by the way, up 75% in the last 24 hours, another 10% in the last 6 hours. So it's having a little bit of a revival. Remember, Moon AI was in the millions not that long ago and dumped down super hard from there. So, it got up to almost 2 million market cap. Now it's at 167,000 market cap. And the liquidity did not rotate into Memelink. That is the problem, or at least that is a problem. Look how bad Memelinked is when you kind of just zoom out. 16 million market cap was the high. But now, just that liquidity extraction, it looks like there's a little hype being built right now, and I don't know what the hype is about. I don't know what's going on over there. I'm not tuned in, so I can't say. Also, Volt, same thing. Just not tuned into all of this stuff anymore. Trying to stay away from meme coins for the most part, and I don't know exactly what's happening over there. I did reach out to Urim, which is the wagering and betting market, to ask them about like doing something going forward, because I think any kind of prediction market probably has a good opportunity, but I don't know. So we'll see what happens there. DEX volume is at 678 8 billion, just like it was yesterday. So again, just kind of looks like meme coins having a little run right now. Institution not playing the game, which is evidenced by 1.56 billion on Ethereum versus 3.4. That's 2 retail chains are blowing up right now, so you can expect a meme coin pump. But again, I think that meme coins are at this point just crime coins. So, I don't know what's going to happen there. Also, and in closing, let's get back into chat right now. Bubba Sparks is the best white rapper. I don't even know who Bubba Sparks is. Like, I have no idea what any of this stuff is. Like, I know when it comes to rap music, obviously you have my intro song, and that's from a friend of mine, who's just from Louisville, Kentucky, just a rapper from Louisville, Kentucky. I don't really know that much about it. When I was a kid, I listened to Third Base every once in a while. When I was a kid, I listened to, I was listening to older music, like the Ghetto Boys, Boogie Down Productions, EPMD, when it was hip hop. Today, I just don't like what's happening today. There was the thing for a while, it was called mumble rapping. Then there was something called trap. And these guys don't even speak English to me, and look, if you're from the hood and the sound that you have is, I don't even know what the fuck you're saying. You know what I mean? And you're using words that I have no idea of. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know. And Bull Run, the reason, I don't know who Bubba Sparks is. So I didn't even know it was a joke. You know what I mean? Like, that's how checked out I am. If I listen to, by the way, I heard a song yesterday, and it was called, God damn it was a crypto song from Nas. He talks about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Hold on. It was... By the way, I don't know if it's a new song or not. I just know that I just saw it. Nas. Okay, so not Nas. I don't know who the fuck. Nas, right here. Okay, there we go. And... Alright, so it was called... It's an album called Light Years, I guess. And Get Ready. Get Ready. G-I-T. Get Ready. There we go. Yeah, so that one showed up on my new songs to check out because I follow Nas. By the way, I don't listen to Nas, but he did a song with MC Search from Third Base a long time ago. And there was this fascinating story, and Search was talking about how Nas came in and did, blah, blah, blah. He's telling this story. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to check the song out. And I don't remember what the song is, but it was interesting, I guess, whatever. But just, it's not my type of music, so anyway, but I put him on my follow on Spotify, and last night I was listening to new music. And just to give you guys an example of my idea of new music, it was Search, and it was Made for You, and it was new music. It was no. It was new whatever. God damn it. Release Radar. Here we go. My release radar is Out of Tune, Flag on Fire. I Stay Wicked from Twisted. Now, I removed Twisted from my list because I really don't listen to them, but, whatever. Tsunami Bomb, Things Aren't Going Well. You're going to Have to Kill Me, Blood for Blood, which is a metalcore band. Filthy Rocks, A Love Letter. Joe Jackson, Welcome to the Burning Sea. Thrice, I don't like Thrice. They did a song called Eat My Honey Bear or whatever, some kind of stupid honey song. And I don't like them, but then I listened to some early Thrice, and they were a punk rock band at that point, but now they're doing this ridiculous lo-fi dumb stuff. And then we had Bleed to Shine, another hardcore band. called Any Given Day. Then there was Get Ready from Nas and DJ Premier. And then the rest of it was Teenage Bottle Rocket, Down Memory Lane, Goldfinger, The Broke Downs, Paperboy Riot, The Flatliners, Hobo Bridge, Vision, I Before E. By the way, Vision did a song called Close Minded. Everybody says that I'm close minded, a punk rock song. This is the different Vision band, but you know, they don't do a great job of putting this shit together. Oh, and then EPMD and Eric Sermon, and then Psycho Stick, Crystal Lake, which is again another hardcore metalcore type band, and then the Terrys, and then Little X Amiri. I didn't even get to that song because I don't give a shit about that song, but most of everything I listen to is like punk rock. You know what I mean? But yeah, get ready was he starts talking, like at the beginning of it, he starts rapping about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and I guess I don't know what the fucking words were, but you know, he was talking about it. So I thought that was going to be kind of cool, and that I should mention that at some point. So consider it mentioned. All right, guys. That's going to be the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, by the way, go check out Ben's stream. I talked to Ben and his team yesterday, and I offered, because you know, a lot of people have been reaching out to me talking about Ben, and I don't talk about Ben very much anymore because, you know, if he were interested, he would be interested. You know what I mean? So I don't know what he's got going on, but I thought that it was important to reach out and say, hey man, you know, I will come on and I will be a, you know, talking head for you, and I'll at least give you somebody to bounce your ideas off of and stuff like that. And, you know, they haven't, you know, I don't know if the answer to that's going to end up being yes or not. He was wanting to do everything on his own. But the problem with that was a lot of people were saying that, you know, he looks like he's, you know, not paying attention, that he's just reading news articles to people every day. And I thought, well, you know what? I kind of do that every once in a while too. I'm showing you what's going on in the news. Maybe I'm more animated about it, but I mean, it doesn't change the game. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Also, over here, we're going to have a chat bubble coming up. I'm like I got these ideas, and I just, because I'm stupid or something, I just keep forgetting to do it. And by the way, if you guys didn't notice, my Bears channel is getting a lot of attention lately. So, you know, you know, when the Bears are paying you more than crypto, you know, your focus kind of changes. You might also see, I guess I should show this to you guys. If you're not following me on Instagram, it is, I don't even know my name right now on Instagram. At Bleaves Official. But we're now putting out Chicago Bears content. Same thing on TikTok. It's going to be at Bleaves, I think it is. And we're doing Bears content and not crypto content necessarily, or just personal content, stuff like that. Also, for those of you that don't know, you know, bit of a fitness buff lately. Been working out. A lot of people like, and I'm not bragging, by the way, but when I go to the gym, everybody wants to talk to me about fitness and stuff because, you know, in the time it took them to eat a cheeseburger, I've lost 130 pounds, and, you know, I look a lot more fit than I did before. So people have been asking me a lot about, you know, why don't you make a fitness channel? Like, why don't you, you know, instead of crypto, why don't you focus on fitness for a little while, you know, see if that doesn't get some traction or something like that. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to ignore that for the moment, and I'm going to do the Bears instead and see how that goes. And again, Bears channel's been kind of blowing up for the last little while. So, you know, I'm getting thousands of views per day on the Chicago Bears, where I'm getting hundreds of views per day on crypto. So, I mean, you do the math. So anyway, that's going to be the show for the day. It's not financial advice. I'm always right. I thank you guys so much for tuning in, and